Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, hello. Welcome to Viewer Discretion is Advised. I am Mike, your host, and today we're joined with my friend Jay and Gator.
Howdy, I'm doing well. How are you, Mike?
Oh, just peachy. How was you went golfing yesterday? How was your golf game?
The golf game needs a lot of work.
Yeah?
I think I hit better when I play Tiger Woods. But no, I need a lot of work. This is my first time out this year, so it's a work in progress. It always has been. It always will be.
Are you talking about like when you play Tiger Woods on the Tiger Woods 98 on the PlayStation 1 or?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Tiger Woods 2000. That was the one I played. Pretty solid.
Yeah, we used to play that in college, and everyone who was playing would have to finish a drink every hole. So by the end of it, we were 18 drinks deep, and no one was keeping score anymore. So,
well, that's a good way to get it done.
That's more my style of golf at this point. But I want to get better at real golf because you can play it till you're 95 if you take care of yourself.
Fantastic. Jay, how you doing over there?
Oh, I'm great, Michael.
That's good to hear. I wanted to talk to you specifically today, kind of as we start things off, because the last couple of weeks, I dipped into Elden Ring, and I've been having actually surprisingly a very, very positive experience with the game. In fact, I just put it down to do this, and I'll be going right back to it. It's definitely going in. My main thought was, I first got Horizon, and I played that, and I was kind of stubborn in the mindset that whatever, that Horizon's a better game. Just for me, for my preferences, because I'm not a big Dark Souls guy. I played a little bit of Bloodborne, but I'm not a big Dark Souls guy. But this game just strikes the note for me, in a way I didn't suspect, which is actually kind of a nice, pleasant surprise. Um, but yeah, Jay, I know that you're a big Dark Souls guy. I know, like Bloodborne in particular. Didn't you like platinum it or something along those lines?
Why, yes, I did, Michael. On the PlayStation 4.
Wow, that had to actually be pretty hard.
Yeah, it was a fun game. Put a lot of time into it. Now, to be frank, I haven't played uh much. I've only played Bloodborne, but it's a lot. There's a lot of similarities in Bloodborne and Elden Ring, and there's a lot of differences.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember specifically, maybe for people that are listening and maybe they've played Bloodborne, maybe they haven't picked up Elden Ring yet. So if I remember, I know one thing I didn't really like about Bloodborne was the linear aspect. I hated having to grind like 25 minutes up to every time I tried to fight a boss. That was like number one and number two of like my biggest pet peeves about the game. But otherwise, I think like the game actually did have a lot of similarities. I don't think you had like starting classes like Elden Ring kind of does. But I know that there was just a variety of different like weapons you could wield, and they had their own leveling system, which, if I remember right, was somewhat similar. Um, yeah, I mean, what do you remember kind of from that aspect? Like, how was the leveling system, and like what? How would you describe that? And then how would you describe like kind of the diversity of like different like weapon sets that you could do, or different like character builds that could make based upon the game?
On Bloodborne, I think you could have two weapons. I'm not sure because I haven't touched Elden Ring yet, so I don't know.
You can have two weapons in Elden Ring. Yeah.
So they have that, but don't you also have a shield in Elden Ring?
Okay, yeah, let me clarify. So you have your left and your right hand, okay? So it kind of is like Skyrim in that sense. There's not a lot that's like Skyrim, but it's like Skyrim in that sense where like you can wield, something in your left and your right hand. There's two different spell types. So like you could do like sorcery spells that's based off your intelligence score. But you'll have to, like, for sorcery spells, you have to use a staff for those. Otherwise, there's a stat called Faith. I don't know if Faith was in Bloodborne. I think that the stats are the same for Dark Souls. But Faith, you would cast what's called incantations, and then you'd have to carry, like, have a seal equipped in that hand that you would cast it. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, you could do, dual wielding swords. I have a staff and a dagger. That's kind of what I do. I do like a stealthy mage. It's actually really fun. But you can also like wield like huge weapons, and of course they have like bows and crossbows and stuff like that too.
I had like a Buster sword, and I had these like two hacksaws, but they were like surgical weapons, and they were the weapons you started off with. So the only other weapon I got was a Buster sword. But from what I've heard from Elden Ring is a lot of the gameplay is based, well, because of the difficulty of the later bosses. There's weapons that you just need. Like I'm pretty sure a katana is like a crowd favorite that everyone's using.
Yeah, I know that it is. It for sure. I don't use one because that's just not my type. But there are certain bosses where you actually are like I was fighting this like snake guy today, and like you actually have to use like a weapon that you pick up and use like each weapon it has like a ability. So like you can use like your L2 button. Like let's say you have a two-handed sword and you can attach like it's kind of like attaching a spell to the sword and you can cast the spell through your equipped item. So that's one thing that's kind of cool. I don't think Bloodborne had that. So like if you wanted to like put like a sorcery spell on a weapon, you actually could do that. It's called yeah, and you could attach it to it and you could cast it from the weapon. So it's yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's got a lot of different things to it.
Yeah, I can't wait to pick up Elden Ring. I think it's like I remember when Skyrim came out when we were in college, and just the effect that like there's always the arguments where Morrowind's better or Oblivion's better, but I specifically, maybe it's because we all had cell phones for the first time when Skyrim came out. It's just, and from when it's come out up until now, it's like just never stopped. It's just been a game that's always, everyone's, there's someone playing Skyrim in the world right now somewhere, and
So
that's
like
just kind of like a testament to it. Same with Oblivion and Morrowind, I guess, but Skyrim, I just remember when it came out, like it was just huge, and the only thing that I can compare to it is Elden Ring when it first came out, those first couple weeks.
wait, so you're saying that you had a cell phone you've got a cell phone when Skyrim came out?
We all started. It was like when we all had cell phones.
Pretty sure I had a cell phone for like at least 8 years prior to that. But no, that's cool.
What do you mean?
Um,
Skyrim came out when 2011, right? We were in high. I didn't. I mean, I didn't have a cell phone call in high school. They were like super expensive back then.
yeah, they were, I suppose. Gator, how you doing over there?
I'm doing well. I'm just taking this all in.
You're not like you're like me. You're not really like a Dark Souls guy, are you?
No, I never really got into them. I've
Yeah.
actually watched quite a few streams of Elden Ring, and it's on my wish list to pick up whenever it
Yeah,
goes on sale or whatever. I got a couple other games I want to beat first, but it's definitely one I want to play. And yeah, to Jay's point, yeah, it does kind of have that feeling like when Skyrim first came out. It was kind of groundbreaking almost in a sense. I mean, not they're not really doing anything too crazy different from other games in the genre, but it's just so massive and so beautiful, and it's so challenging too. It's fun to watch these streamers struggle against some of the harder bosses, and then even just texting with some other friends that play and hearing them bitch about being stuck at a certain spot too. So yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a really fun, really challenging, and like rewarding game to pick up. So I will definitely be doing that here probably in the near future.
Mike.
Fantastic.
Mike, I just want to say something kind of off the cuff.
Okay.
Um, so like when I'm talking about like a testament like to the longevity of these games, like Skyrim or um, uh, Morrowind or Oblivion, any open RPG, you could even say like Don't Starve or Mine, like just a game where there are tons of there are endless possibilities, and now we're waiting for like the next one. I know people are waiting for like Grand Theft Auto 6. They're waiting for the new Starfield.
Right.
They're waiting for Skyrim. But it's like Mike and I were talking about this the other day, Gator. We're talking about um, Cyberpunk and how
Oh God.
there's this YouTuber that he put a physics comparison between like the physics in GTA 5 versus Cyberpunk, and GTA 5 is like just the physics in the game and the fluidity of it is just far better than Cyberpunk.
Oh, I believe it.
I believe it too.
Cyberpunk fizzled out after 2 months, 3 months. GTA 5 still has an online community like GTA
Oh,
Online. Still has an. I just saw an advertisement for GTA Online the other day.
it's
Yeah.
the number one selling game. If you Google highest rated games of all times or highest or games that have made the most amount of money, obviously you'll see like Fortnite on there. You'll see like Blizzard or you'll see like Riot. But GTA is like still number one, baby.
You know what's another game you're talking
Crazy.
about longevity? Another game that people play all the time is Rust. That's another game that just always
Yeah.
has variations. It's that open world, survival MMO
I
RPG.
have Rust. I have it. I've never played it with anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a game for your particular taste, Jay, because you love to troll people.
I wouldn't call it. See, I grew up in a different time before most of these kids when you'd play like an MMO game or an open sandbox game, and if you died, and this is where you and I differ, Mike, is where you
Yeah.
die. There's that grind up to get your stuff again, and I'm the type of person if I can take advantage of the situation, I'm going to with a friend or if it's in the game and I'm allowed to do it, I'll do it. So like if it's a completely open sandbox game like Rust, Gator and I obviously are going to, if we played it together, right? Online, we would trick other people into getting their stuff. And if we had to murder them, I wouldn't hesitate in Rust. In the real world though, it's a different thing. These games give us those, options to do that.
Gives us that outlet.
Gives us the outlet. It's kind of like the movie The Purge, but not really because any normal person's not going to go out and grief and murder and steal from other people. But it's just when that's in a game and it's done correctly, there's nothing that can beat it.
That's reminds me of DayZ also when that game first
Yeah,
came out.
DayZ, another
Interesting.
game.
Oh man, you would spend 3 days
Save us
gearing
from
up your
Tarkov?
guy. You'd spend 3 days gearing up your guy, and then you'd get in a gunfight, and my heart would be jumping out of my chest because of how much was on the line. Like if I get clipped, if I get a headshot right here, I lost like 10 hours of progress, and
And
then you start on the
another
beach
thing too,
naked.
Gabe. That's another thing too. Is this the gamble that you're making? The risk versus reward in games. It's just they don't do it as well as when they used to for a lot of the open
True.
sandboxy with multiplayer capabilities or
There's
features.
there's very few permadeath games anymore that
Yeah.
where you lose your stuff, like Jay was saying, where you lose your gear.
I
If
mean,
you
I'm
Yeah.
a very
die.
niche crowd for gaming. Like the normal gamer would not like those the hardcore or sweatiness behind it, but sometimes if it's a good product, I can get behind it.
Yeah, because you used to
True.
play Ultima Online, right, Jay?
Yeah, the griefiest of the grief
Yeah.
game.
So here's my question. What's the saltiest thing you ever did in that game?
Ultima Online had house placements in It wasn't
Yeah.
like an instant, like a WoW garrison. If some of you WoW players know what a garrison, it wasn't like a house that you had to yourself in your own little instance. It was a house in the actual open world. And when they first started, coming up with the features and the securities behind the houses, basically you could unlock your house with a key. This key was stealable. You could loot it off someone if they died. Like they hadn't made the keychains in the game like a soulbound or insured thing. So I've straight up killed people with other friends for house keys. Stolen houses, stolen everything from players. There's no hacking involved. It's all in-game mechanics.
So they just
I'd be
run
so
through and
pissed. Yeah.
ransack houses, and people would. I remember watching Jay a couple times. People would try to hide things in their house, and Jay would always sniff it out, like, "Oh, there's something behind this painting, or something in this drawer, some random drawer in the corner that they would try to hide." And yeah,
Like you get
it'd be
people that
full
would
of
abuse
jewels
the
and
features. Yeah, like they would abuse the feature, and the game is so old that there are like scripts and stuff, and that's a whole other topic. But
yeah.
I mean, I mean, in the game, they had a skill stealing, and you had a 700 skill cap. And most people be like, all right, well, I'm going to get 7 skills and get them to 100 each. But you can do so many different things. And like if you were a blacksmith, you were a blacksmith. Like you didn't have like some had like a fighting skill, but you're typically just a blacksmith. And a thief is a thief. Like sure, you'd get like swordsmanship and like band-aids to heal yourself, and there's always potions, but there's just no risk versus reward anymore in games. Like it's just I don't
And
know.
I think part of that, Jay, is so these game developers can appeal to a more broad crowd, right? You can appeal to the guy that, works a full
Like
day
me.
and wants to play a couple hours after work, or,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
just pick it up.
Like I said, I'm a niche. Yeah, I'm very niche.
There's not a lot of like hardcore sweaty gamers. I mean, yeah, there is that niche, or
Well,
there's
there
that
are.
dedicated group. But if you want to sell the game at Christmas time, you want it to Joe Schmo to be able to pick it up and play it, after work for an hour, or someone to no life shit bucket and beat the game in a week. It doesn't matter, but they want everyone to buy it. Is basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
For sure. It's always about how you can make the most dollar nowadays. But let's segue for a sec because I know there's a little bit.
That's a perfect segue. Making the most dollar. That's a perfect segue.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so let's segue. I know we wanted to talk about this, and this is going to be there's going to be a little contention here. I can already tell from talking
A
to the two of
little.
you. So, Gator, I know you're excited for Overwatch 2. Jay, maybe not so much. To give some context, the three of us have probably played Overwatch. I haven't played Overwatch for maybe a year and a half to 2 years, but I played Overwatch pretty solidly for like 2 years.
We all played it.
Yeah, we played it together, right? And loved it. Absolutely. Like I'm someone who despises PvP. I hate PvP games. I always was never a Call of Duty person, hated it. I finally got into Halo 3 kind of. And then the one game that finally really got me into PvP was Overwatch. I absolutely loved because of the team aspect of it. I think there
Yeah.
was just some aspect to that where I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, it kind of got, it kind of lost its, you know, its flair for me over time. I kind of just got sick of it. But I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence. I could see myself being excited for Overwatch 2, but at the same time, for me, if it kind of feels like more of the same, I don't know. But Gator, let's start with you because we want to first start with some positivity and you'll bring some
Hey, I'm
positivity
gonna be
into the mix.
positive. What are you talking about?
Jay can wait his turn. So Gator, tell us what you're excited about for Overwatch 2 and what you hope to see from the game.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be Mr. Positivity, but I'll try and put a little spin on it. Yeah, I mean, Overwatch 1 was fantastic. It was like, you take that first hit of crack and then you're hooked. And that's kind of what it was for me for at least a year and a half. I played it every night almost.
Mhm.
Ranked, solo queue, arcade mode, whatever. I have, I don't know, maybe 100 friends on Blizzard from people that I just met playing that game. Now, have I talked to them since? Probably not, but there, a few people I've gamed with, and teamed up with over the years since then. But yeah, man, I loved it. It was a perfect blend between FPS, which I loved, growing up on COD and Battlefield and things like that. So I had the kind of gun skills already, and then you add in the RPG elements with each champion having its own different kit that they mess with, ultimate moves. You can hit the perfect ultimate and completely change the tide of a battle. I loved that. And you could, yeah, I don't know. It just every game was different. Every game felt different, with the champion pool being so large, and just with the maps mixing it up there too. It's just it was a wide world for me for a while. But then, yeah, to your point, Mike, it did get a little stale. I felt like they didn't add enough maps. They could have added some more champions throughout the years, or heroes. I think that's what they call them.
All I needed was Zenyatta. I didn't care. I didn't give a shit about that. All I care about is
Right.
give me Zenyatta at any map. Any map, give me Zenyatta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then you could, yeah, that was the other cool thing is you find your main. I think mine might have been Diva or Roadhog. And then you're just like, when in
You were a big
doubt,
diva. Yeah, you're a
when,
big diva guy.
when in doubt, go to your main and try to see if you can salvage the game or not. But um, yeah, that was something cool too. Is like everyone had their little niche guy that they could go to and try to help the team out. Um, but yeah, that's Overwatch 1. Now, what I've seen it from Overwatch 2, I haven't played it myself. I've only watched streamers play it and watched highlight clips on YouTube. To me, it looks pretty much like a reskinned Overwatch 1 at this point. I don't know how far into development they are or what their ultimate plans are. I know they switched it from 6 to 5 per team, so that's a
Right.
huge change right there. I don't think you can pick roles anymore. I don't think you pick roles. I think anyone can pick from the whole hero pool right away. Um, and then they added some new abilities. They added one new champion, one new hero. Um, Sojourn, who looked interesting, overpowered, like any new one that gets launched right away. So I mean, yeah, it remains to be seen. We haven't seen the PVE mode yet, which is going to be their big selling point.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking most of their development is going into that. Um, and maybe they're kind of just mailing it in a little bit, or just using what assets they already have from Overwatch 1 for now, and then maybe they'll pour some more development into that moving forward. But I mean, I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't know if I'll pay full price for it right away, but we'll wait and see.
All right, Jay. What are your thoughts?
I mean, those are basically all my thoughts. You know, it's easy to be, the negative uh, side. I mean, there's just is it reskinned? How does it look reskinned? I mean, yeah. Have they changed some characters? Yeah. Is it necessarily a good way? I mean, a lot of the fun in Overwatch was just the crazy amount of crowd control you could have. And there a lot of characters just aren't that. I know that Doomfist is now a tank and he's not a damage, which there are some people, your Doomfist mains, that have an opinion about that. I
Yeah, I
know that
remember. Yeah, you were in particular. You were pretty fired up about. I didn't even know they nerfed McCree, but yeah, apparently they nerfed McCree too in his
they
crowd
nerfed
control.
McCree.
He
Yeah,
changed his name too.
his name's Ryan.
His name's Ryan.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's still McCree, but Maybe they changed it. There's just a lot of background noise too. Like
Yeah,
Jeff Kaplan isn't a part of the team anymore. Blizzard's like
Well, let's talk
basically.
about that. Yeah. So you were saying the other day, so Jay, maybe we can get into that. So Blizzard was acquired by whom, and then what has really been the aftermath from that?
I mean, not much yet. Like I'm pretty sure Microsoft has bought and acquired them. I'm not sure how much changes Microsoft has
Oh, it's Microsoft.
done, but
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, Microsoft bought them. But Microsoft is like, if you have an Xbox now, I think you're going to be set for the future because there's going to be a lot of Microsoft only games.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Bethesda, Blizzard, those are my two favorite gaming studios growing up. And to be
yeah,
honest, the third was Obsidian, and I think they own them too now. So,
yeah, Microsoft owns Obsidian Entertainment. Um, so there's just, there's
and the
there's
thing,
at Blizzard too. There's a lot of I don't know how much you've looked into Blizzard the past 2 years, but they've been going through something.
they've had some controversy.
They've definitely had some So like a lot of the main guys from Blizzard, really aren't a part of Blizzard anymore. And with Jeff Kaplan leaving, like Jeff Kaplan was like the heart and soul of Overwatch. If I'm reading the crowd correctly.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. Jeff Kaplan, yeah, he's been there forever, right? He's been at Blizzard. He was a developer on the original World of Warcraft.
Yeah, he's
Vanilla back in the day.
he's
Probably,
a big shot.
yeah, he was back like the original Warcraft games too, right?
I believe so, like Warcraft 3 and 2 and 1 and stuff like that.
Jeff Kaplan made the Molten Core raid, I believe, in World of Warcraft. He made it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
Your favorite
anytime,
raid, right there?
What's that?
I thought you said the other day that Molten Core was your favorite.
Oh, I
WoW.
love Molten Core. Molten Core is my favorite raid.
so fun. The first time you do it or the 1,000th time you do it?
It's the 1,000th time you do it.
It's just as fun as the first. No, but anytime a company has a guy that leaves with the pull that Jeff Kaplan had at Blizzard, I get a little concerned.
Yeah.
He was, like Jay said, he was the life and blood of Overwatch since its beginning. So him leaving and then, Overwatch 2 was pushed off for so long. I just don't know if they have much of a direction or not. I don't know who the new lead designer is on the game, but I mean, Jeff was a big loss to the company, and he's he's a great developer. The proof is in the pudding with what he's put out in his career. So I think that's a big hurdle to overcome for sure for the project.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, go ahead. Anything else you want to add, Jay?
I mean, from what we've seen from like the Twitch viewership too, like I remember like the first 2 weeks they were showing the beta of Overwatch 2, and then after everyone saw the product, and the product's not done, it's nowhere near done according to Blizzard or Microsoft, whoever. But the viewership like dropped 90% after what they. So if that's an indication for anything right there, like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Maybe they come out with like, a great game, and if it goes on sale, I'll probably get it.
Yeah, as long as it's not like EA or Activision, like as long as we don't see that type of shit,
Well, Activision's owned by Microsoft.
they're owned by Microsoft now. Yeah.
Yeah, because Vivendi, Blizzard, Activision was what they bought.
Okay, so they bought. Okay, that now I understand. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, hopefully they don't go too heavy into the microtransaction thing. I know Overwatch has always kind of been that, but it hasn't been it from I think a terrible sense. It's just like an aesthetic thing, And I think it's fine. I think it works
Which is
fine.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine in that way. Where it went wrong was obviously, with Battlefront and those, it was so bad. And then, of course, you always have the fear that they're going to put out products that aren't ready or they're not finished, and just so they can, try to really make money off of, the initial release, that they're pumping up their marketing for. You just hope that that type of trend doesn't start happening with these bigger type of studios, Microsoft in particular, because if you see this start to happen with, like, a Blizzard product, it could easily happen with a Bethesda product too, and that's like the word. Like, I would really really hate to see something like that happen.
Yeah. I mean, look at
And
Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring, they took their time with, and I mean, look how it's turned out. Like,
Yeah,
it's a it's a perfect uh, it's a perfect potion, right? Like a really good video game. Like it's got the right amount of ingredients. The people behind it have the skill level to do it, and I get it. It's hard to make a game to please the masses when they hype it up and have a deadline. All the shit behind me that goes into making a video game, but I don't know. It looks like a reskinned game. It looks like a DLC update. Like they updated the character
yeah,
models in WoW after so many
Overwatch.
expansions.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and
like,
it's exactly what it feels like. I was disappointed by Destiny 2. That's how it felt for me. Might as well not even make Destiny 2. Like, just keep Destiny. Like, so
Destiny
yeah.
2 is a weird game now. It's kind of like No Man's Sky, where when it first came out, it was kind of like, but later as the time's gone on, like we have a good friend Jason uh, who loves it now.
Oh, Jason still
He
plays it, or he plays it, huh?
yeah, he loves it, and if we ever get time to play it, which we haven't, and I don't know how many
I'd
months,
be
but
I'd be open to it, man. Like, I sunk so many hours into the original Destiny. The Vault of Glass raid was probably, from an MMO standpoint, is probably like one of my best memories. Like, I loved that experience, and yeah, I mean, I'd be all about suiting up with a scout rifle. That was my jam. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just felt saturated to me over time, and maybe that would change. I haven't played that game for even longer, since it's probably been 3-4 years since I played Destiny 2. It says it even been off track of time. But I certainly played it when it first came out, and I actually did like, kind of like with WoW. What I did like about Destiny 2 is like the leveling aspect of it. I really like that, and like the MMOs, actually usually more so than the raids.
well, I was just gonna say for Destiny, the good thing behind Destiny 2 now is the cross play. That is one thing that I think these companies should start trying to implement more. Is just doing more cross play things.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the few times that we all got to play Destiny 2 together was a lot of fun. It's challenging, and
Sure.
yeah, I mean, if they throw crossplay into the mix, that's even going to open up the group that we can play with. So, yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'd be open to it. I love the idea of having a great MMORPG, FPS, and there's really not a better, you know studio to put forth that product than the people that were part of Bungie. Like,
Hmm.
they're the best of the best. So, like, that's a big reason why I got it. Like you said, you like Call of Duty. I hated Call of Duty, but I kind of liked Halo, and I liked what they did with it. And I'm actually very good at first person shooters, but I really don't play them a whole lot, comparative to just maybe a standard ARPG style. But I do mix them up. Like, I don't I like if I get a nice, like, a great, like, shooter RPG, I love a great shooter RPG. But it just kind of they kind of have to have the right elements for me to really get excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And for the record, I'm not into Call of Duty anymore. That was like college
I mean,
college era.
Call of Duty 1, I remember when it came out, there was a game that everyone was playing, like, basically a Half-Life clone called Day of Defeat, and then
Oh yeah.
Call of Duty, like, came out right around that time, and it was basically like they were, one and the same game, but I think you could go prone in Call of Duty. So, like,
Yeah,
a lot of people don't remember that, and Call of Duty does have some great titles, like, Modern Warfare 2 is, like it's, like,
sure.
one of the best, and
Yeah.
the original Nazi Zombies is,
Right.
like
I love that. I played.
yeah, the
Well,
original
you and I both played the shit out of that. You remember that?
yeah, I'm talking about the original, like, the one that
Yeah.
came out what was that, World at War, or I forget which one it was.
I think it
Black
was or
Ops
the original Black Ops, maybe. Yeah.
might have been World at War.
Or it could have been no, it was. It was World at War because I remember, yeah, it had the World War II weapons. In the original Zombies was that World War II bunker, right? That you
Yep,
Oh man. Yeah. No, I
the
loved
best
that. Trust
version.
me. I did love that. And but the thing I liked about it obviously was the co-op aspect, right?
Yeah.
Um
Yeah,
but yeah, no, they put together, great products obviously. So
Yeah,
um
massively popular. There'll be another one this year around the holidays.
they're massively popular. And actually like I've I actually, I've bought in plenty of Call of Duty games, and usually what I just do when I've done that in the past is I just kind of I play the campaign and then I drop it. But but yeah, no, obviously, there's a big crowd that loves that style, and the one thing that is nice about uh, I think those types of games is it really does kind of keep the mechanics, the FPS mechanics, like fresh and like I think they really kind of drive a lot of the innovation behind really the from a game mechanic standpoint how FPSs perform and how they've performed over time.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely an innovator in the genre.
100%. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for now. But be sure to join us on the next podcast. I think it'll be one thing I want to get into, guys. I want to talk some Starfield since it's going to be coming out, and of course, we'll cover a wide array of topics as we did. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next cast.